Hey guys, it's Cherrylicious, and I'm back with another season ranking video. Last time we did season 1. You can go check that out. There'll be a link in the description, if I remember. This time we're going to be doing season 2. We're going to be ranking every episode on this tier list, S to D scale. And let's get started. First up, of course, we have the season premiere, The Return of Harmony, Part 1 and Part 2. As I did with season 1's premiere, I'm going to be counting these as the same episode because it does say Part 1 and Part 2. So I'll be ranking them both the same. I actually really like this episode. I think it has a lot of funny moments. I think Discord is a really good villain, especially for an introduction of a second season. Last season, obviously, we had Nightmare Moon. But this time, we have Discord. And personally, I prefer Discord because he's cool and funny and hilarious. And I like that we did something unique with the main six, where they sort of turn into the opposites of themselves due to Discord's weird magic stuff. And I like the hedge maze section. I like the section where Twilight's trying to gather everyone back up. I don't know, I really like this episode in general. I can't sing its praises enough. I'm tempted to put it in S tier. I mean, like, it's such a classic My Little Pony episode just in general. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to put it in S tier. I don't care. I'm going to put those in S tier. That's where we're going to put them. Alright, next up we have Lesson 0. This is another one of those meme-worthy episodes, and another episode I actually really enjoy. This is the episode, if you don't remember, where Twilight has a deadline for a school assignment, essentially. And she just sort of tries to create problems in an attempt to solve problems, in an attempt to complete the, what was it, like the report she did to Celestia, the letter she wrote. And it just sort of goes wacky, and I actually really like this episode. Obviously, it has some moments, but I actually kind of enjoy the meme moments. I'm gonna put it in A tier. I don't think I like it quite as much as I do Return of Harmony. But that being said, I think Lesson 0 is still a really good episode. The doll chasing scene especially is excellent. Next up, episode 4 is Luna Eclipsed. This is, I believe, the first episode to really have Princess Luna as a main focus. Not Nightmare Moon, Princess Luna. And this is the episode where it's Nightmare Night again. And Princess Luna's walking around and just doing Princess Luna things. And everyone's just really scared of her. And I guess I could see why. She was a villain trying to take over the entire world not too long ago, probably a year ago. And everyone just sort of tries to help Luna accommodate to actual life and become more of a acceptable member of society. And I think there's a lot of comedy that goes in that as well. I think it's pretty similar to Lesson 0 in structure, in just the sense that, you know, someone is dealing with a problem that A, they don't necessarily know they have, and B, that the dealing with that problem results in a lot of, like, gags and jokes, and at the end of the day, it all gets resolved in a sort of strange way. So I really like this episode, and due to those similarities, and just because I like Princess Luna, I'm going to put it in A tier. I'm going to put it below Lesson 0. I think Lesson 0 is a little bit more memorable, and that's why I'm going to put it above Lunar Eclipse, or Luna Eclipsed, sorry. But yeah, we're looking pretty good so far. We got one episode in S, or I guess 2 episodes, but 1 episode in S. And then we've got 2 episodes in A, so let's see what happens next. Sister Hoof's Social. Now this is a sort of strange one. This is the one where Sweetie Belle is sort of messing with Rarity's job. And then Rarity's all like, I don't like you. And Sweetie Belle's all like, well, I hate you. And, you know, they sort of break up. And Sweetie Belle, I think, if I remember correctly, she just lives with Applejack and Apple Bloom for a little bit. And at the near the end of the episode, there's this thing called the Sister Hoof Social, which is what the episode is named after. And it's this big, like, sister-based event. And Rarity essentially wants to go with Sweetie Belle, but Sweetie Belle doesn't want to go with Rarity because Sweetie Belle's pissed off. So I think Rarity pulls some kind of switcheroo to compete with Sweetie Belle anyway. And, you know, Sweetie Belle is, you know, really happy about that. And they make up and yada, yada, yada. I don't know. I think this episode's I mean, it's kind of... It's okay. It's okay. Like, I didn't remember it until I actually, like, rewatched it. Like, I don't know if it's one of the more iconic episodes of season 2, but I just didn't remember much from this. And to be completely honest, it's sort of just a there episode. Like, there's nothing particularly wrong with it, but at the same time, it just isn't super memorable. It isn't notable in a lot of ways. It's just a decent episode. And because it's a decent episode, I'm going to put it right in the middle of the tier list. It's going right in B. Every episode so far has been a step down. I'm scared. This next episode, episode 6, is the Cutie Pox. And I'm honestly starting to see a kind of trend with a few of these episodes. This episode, Cutie Pox specifically, also has a lot to share with Lesson 0 and that sort of format, where Apple Bloom takes sort of insane measures to solve this problem that result in a lot of gags and comedic moments and scenes over the course of the episode, and then she realizes, oh, maybe I shouldn't try to rig the system and try to artificially create, what is it, a cutie mark? Yeah, cutie mark. I'm thinking I'm going to put it above Sister Hoof's Social, but still in B tier. I think I'm going to still put it in B tier. It's a pretty good episode. I liked it. I like how Apple Bloom fails. That's the funniest part. I'm kidding, of course. But I do like the moments with Sakura. And Apple Bloom sort of just learning that, oh, you can't really cheat the system and sort of just, like, get what you want when you want it. You sort of gotta wait for it to happen and occur. And I like that message, and overall I like the episode, but I think it's a tad not, it's not A tier. It's not A tier. Episode 7 is called May the Best Pet Win. This is when Rainbow Dash gets jealous of her friends and decides, I need a pet. So she essentially hosts a Olympic competition to decide who gets the right to be Rainbow Dash's pet. And I think this episode's pretty funny for the most part, but I don't know, I feel like it's like a lot of the episode itself is forgettable. The episode is not forgettable, but a lot of the moments in it are. I feel like some of the, like, training sessions or competitions, I feel like those drag on a little bit. And I get the overall message, because Rainbow Dash eventually gets stuck in a gorge, and then Tank has to come around and save her. And then she's like, oh, I like the turtle now. Give me the turtle. But I don't know. I feel like they could have come up with something better to do in the middle of the episode. Like, something more interesting may have happened. I don't know. I feel like we just always knew where it was going. I'm going to put it in B tier, below Sister Hoof's Social. Maybe a controversial opinion. Fight me in the comments. This is the Mysterious Mare Duel episode. This is the episode where Rainbow Dash essentially becomes a superhero, and everyone loves Rainbow Dash, and Rainbow Dash sure as heck loves Rainbow Dash. And everyone else is getting tired of the ego, so they decide to essentially become a superhero all on their own. And by that I mean all 5 of the other ponies, pretty much. And it's just confusing. Like, you did not have to go about it like this. Maybe I just don't like episodes that focus around Rainbow Dash as much. Maybe that's it. But I felt like a lot of this episode was just annoyance. Like, we had one skit where Rainbow Dash is a hero, one skit where Rainbow Dash is a hero, another skit where Rainbow Dash is a hero. The script flips, and then we do pretty much those same skits again, but with Mare Duel sort of taking the place of Rainbow Dash against her will. I felt like we should have had something more interesting or unique happen there. It's not a terrible episode, but I'm going to put it in C tier. Now, this next one is an interesting case. This is Sweet and Elite. This is the episode where Rarity is in Canterlot, I believe for an event with Twilight. And Rarity sort of just gets addicted to the fame and decides to keep attending events instead of paying attention to her friends. And eventually, Twilight and company go out to Canterlot, and Rarity's like, oh man, my reputation is at stake, because I care about that more than my friends. And at the end of the episode, she cares about her friends more than her reputation. The lesson is obvious, but this is another episode I kind of forgot about. I don't know how to really describe it. I guess I didn't really like this one all that much. I mean, it's pretty simple. There's nothing objectively, like, terrible about it. I know I've said this a lot when it comes to these Season 2 episodes, but I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of this episode in particular. I think I like Ne'er-do-well more, to be honest. I'm honestly considering putting this, like, lower. The further the season goes, the less I like the episodes. This is concerning. This is Secret of My Excess, episode 10. And this is the episode where Spike is just being mean, sort of for the sake of being mean. I can't say I'm a huge fan of this episode. I'm probably going to put it in D tier immediately. I believe this is the episode where Spike gets a bunch of birthday presents and then essentially just wants more presents, but it's super obvious and no one points it out. And, I don't know, it's just hard to watch for me. I don't care for it. It's going in D tier. I'm not going to talk about it much more. Horsewarming Eve. This is episode 11, and this is a pretty iconic episode, in my opinion. This is the episode that is essentially backstory for Equestria in the framing device of a stage play that the main ponies are putting on. I don't know, I quite like this episode. I like the antics, and I like the fact that we're getting to see these characters like Rarity, Pinkie Pie, you know, Rainbow Dash, Twilight, everyone else, in situations that they normally wouldn't be in. And essentially playing characters, but they're still... Like, Rarity is still Rarity, even though she's playing a character. Same with Pinkie Pie, same with Twilight, same with everyone, pretty much. I really like this episode. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Above Lesson 0. I'm gonna put it above Lesson 0. I just really liked Hearthwarming Eve. I like the dynamic, and I like the switch-up. Episode 12 is Family Appreciation Day. This is where Apple Bloom essentially is embarrassed by her grandmother. And then Granny essentially just proves them wrong. Granny Smith is like, oh, well, I'm actually really cool because I discovered the Zap Apple. And then we formed Ponyville. And Apple Bloom's whole class is like, oh, wow, now you're really cool. This episode was just boring to me. I don't know. It isn't exciting. I think it's better than Secret of My Excess, because Secret of My Excess actively, like, I do not want to watch it. But, I don't know, Family Appreciation Day isn't terrible, it's just boring. Like, it's straight up boring. There's nothing exciting going on. No, I want to see the resolution of this, nothing like that. I'm gonna put it in D tier, I'm gonna put it above Secret of My Excess, though. Episode 13 is called Baby Cakes. This is when Pinkie Pie is essentially tasked to be a babysitter for Mr. and Mrs. Cake's new children. And I think this episode's pretty funny. I like Pinkie Pie, but it's interesting to see Pinkie Pie in a situation where she isn't the crazy one and she's trying to be the more responsible one. I'm actually kind of a fan of that switch up. If you can't tell already by my placements of The Return of Harmony and Hearthwarming Eve, I do like these character switch ups. I like when Pinkie Pie, for example, who is normally the most weird and eccentric and energetic character on the cast, faced with something where she can't be that, and she has to force herself to try to be responsible, and she isn't the wild one in this circumstance. So I really like this episode. Do I like it more? I'm gonna put it at the top of B tier. I don't think it's quite A tier, but I'm gonna put it under Luna Eclipsed. That's where I'm going to put it. Next up is the last roundup. Yeehaw! This is the episode where Applejack tries to win a medal, fails to win a medal, and essentially will not tell anyone about it, and she doesn't even go back to, like, Ponyville, I don't think. I'm pretty sure she just stays in, wherever she ends up. And she's working at, like, this cherry farm. And I don't know, this one just, it hurts a little bit to watch. This is a little like Secret of My Excess to me. I love Applejack, but for so much of the episode, I'm just like, this is stupid. Just give it up. Like, please just fess up by this point. I think they drag it on so much, and then it's just like, oh no, Applejack failed to win the medal. Who cares? I'm gonna put it in bottom of C tier. I don't think I need to elaborate on that too much further. Did someone say Applejack? Because we've got another apple-based episode in this one. This is the Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000. This is essentially the Flim and Flam episode, where they roll into town and start taking up all the business with their stupid apple cider that they make with a machine. So essentially, it's an allegory for capitalism in America. I'm kidding, of course. But essentially, there's a contest started between the Apple family and Flim and or Flam to determine who is actually the better one at doing the apple cider thing. And if I remember correctly, it's like a speed contest, like who can make more apple cider. And the brothers obviously win because they have a machine, but their cider tastes like crap. So essentially, the apples made some really good cider, but not a ton of it. And Flim and Flam just made a bunch of really bad cider. So it's essentially McDonald's versus your favorite family restaurant. I like this episode. I think it's a pretty good episode. Do I like it more than Luna Eclipsed? Probably not, but I like it more than Baby Cakes. So I'm going to put it at the bottom of A tier. We're looking pretty good. There's some boring and frustrating episodes in this season, that's for sure. But overall, we're not looking terrible right now. Now we have Read It and Weep. This is the episode where Rainbow Dash injures herself and has to spend time in the hospital, which she hates. So she ends up reading Daring Do because Twilight was like, oh, you should read this book. And Rainbow Dash was like, reading is for eggheads. And eventually she just picks it up, starts reading, doesn't stop reading, and is embarrassed by reading, and breaks back into the hospital just to keep reading the book. I actually kind of liked this episode. I feel like it's more charming than the last roundup. It's sort of similar to the last roundup, where the main character is trying to hide some sort of secret from everyone else. But at the same time, I feel like this is less stakes, less stupid, and funnier, more charming. I don't know how to really describe it. I don't think it's the best episode ever, but I'm a fan of the way they set up Daring Do in this manner, and Rainbow Dash's fangirling over Daring Do. I think it's a little worse than Baby Cakes. I'm going to put it right there. Right in the middle of B tier. Hearts and Hooves Day. Holy wow. This is the episode where the Cutie Mark Crusaders drug Big Mac and Cheerilee and make them fall in love with each other and then realize that's not what they should have done. This episode, while it's really funny, I think the actual like plot itself is a little kind of stupid. I think a lot of the moments between like Cheerilee and Big Mac, both drugged and not drugged, are pretty funny. But at the same time, I don't know. I think the actual story falls a little weak. I think it's better than Mare-Duel, but not much better than that. Next we have A Friend Indeed. This is Pinkie Pie meeting Cranky Doodle Donkey, who is essentially really sad and depressed and standoffish all the time, which is in stark contrast to everything Pinkie Pie is. And Pinkie Pie tries to be his friend because he's sad, and essentially Pinkie just ruins his life. Essentially, if I remember, she sets fire to his like scrapbook, and Cranky is really upset about that, justifiably so, because she's been really annoying and doesn't know how to back off. And then the situation is solved by, get this, Pinkie not backing off and instead trying to do more favors for Cranky. Why? I mean, I get it. In context, it makes sense because there's Matilda and Cranky wanted to reunite with Matilda and Pinkie knew how to do that. But at the same time, just give it up, Pinkie. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the story here. I'm not a big fan of the humor either. This is a powerful D tier episode. I'm going to put it right in the middle of D tier. That's where I'm going to put that. Next is Putting Your Hoof Down. This is when Fluttershy meets Iron Will the Minotaur and learns how to be rude. And I actually quite like this episode. As you know, as I've mentioned before, I like the character switch-ups. And I think this one makes sense, especially from a story perspective. The story checks out, the message checks out, it's pretty hilarious at points, and this is another one of those iconic episodes that I don't think My Little Pony would even be the same without. So I'm going to slide this right up to S tier. I don't think it's quite as fun as Return of Harmony, but I like it more than Hearthswarming Eve and Lesson Zero, and I think it's just completely iconic. As I said, I don't think the My Little Pony series would be the same without this one specific episode, and that's a lot you could say for just one episode. Finally, at episode 20, we have It's About Time. This is the episode where Twilight is visited by her future self, who tells her, please, what was it, like, don't do something next morning or something like that? It's essentially a warning, like, don't do this. And then, guess what? Twilight ends up doing it. Dun, dun, dun. And then Twilight it sort of just fumbles around and ends up doing the thing while trying to prevent the thing. And then it's sort of a time loop. I think it's pretty funny. I don't know, because the actual story itself is kind of weak. I don't know if there's necessarily a message to go along with this either, but it's also pretty funny. And I think it's very memorable in its humor. I'm going to put it up... I can't put it above Luna Eclipse. I can't bring myself to do that. So we're going to put it in A tier, near the bottom of A tier. Number 21, Dragon Quest. Maybe I just don't like Spike episodes very much, but I didn't like this episode very much, as I did with Secrets of My Excess. This one, I just find the side characters to not be good. Anytime Spike is interacting with the real dragons, I think they're boring or annoying, somewhere on that scale. And it's really strange that Twilight and friends follow him around in a, like, really crappy dragon costume. I just did not really get the point of that. Like, that was never, like, a thing that was ever pointed out, necessarily, so I'm not sure why it happened. Essentially, Spike just tries to become manly, and it fails. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in D tier. I think more happens in it than the Granny Smith Zap Apple episode that I can't remember the name of from the top of my head. But it's just not... It's not great. 22, Hurricane Fluttershy. This is the episode where a bunch of Pegasi have to create a tornado, and Fluttershy can barely fly. Oops. So, Fluttershy goes through basically, I believe, a training montage of sorts, and she's very not confident about it. And then, eventually, they're like 1 point off the speed mark for trying to get this tornado up to speed. And Fluttershy has to, you know, be brave enough to go in the tornado and give them, like, that extra 1 mile per hour or whatever that they need. I think it's a pretty good episode. I liked it. I think it's funny. And I think it's cute and or charming. This is going to be another B tier episode for me, but I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to put it right below Read It and Weep. Smack dab in the middle of B tier. Sorry if we're blasting through these, by the way. I'm getting near the end, and I just sort of want to finish this, because I don't have a ton of time left to record this, admittedly. This is 23, episode 23, Ponyville Confidential. The Cutie Mark Crusaders are, I believe, recruited to the news team, and are essentially pressured to write news stories that slander their friends. Essentially, this is canceling before canceling existed. And this is the Cutie Mark Crusaders canceling their friends over the newspaper for that sweet, sweet clickbait. So essentially, they're Keemstar. Eventually, the Cutie Mark Crusaders own up to their actions, write an apology letter, and Diamond Tiara is pissed off about it, and also there's a newsboy who gets covered in ink. Overall, I think this episode's pretty good. I have a lot of the same praises for this one as I did some of the other, like, good episodes. I think it's funny. I think the message works. I think the character moments are really what make this, because a lot of this is just, like, taking secret photographs of your friends and writing weird and secret articles about them under a code name. I believe it was Gabby Gums. So yeah, as I said, I like this episode. I think it's cute. I'm going to put it in A tier. I'm going to balance these out. I'm going to put it in A tier. Right underneath the squeezy machine and right above Baby Cakes. Only 2 episodes left because Cantaloupe Wedding is a 2-part episode, so I'll be counting it as 1 episode. But this is episode 24, Mystery on the Friendship Express. This is a pretty iconic episode as far as My Little Pony Season 2 is concerned. This is probably one of the most important ones, at least, or memorable at the very least. This is where Pinkie Pie gets a bite taken out of her cake, and then goes around questioning everyone in a sort of like murder train mystery parody on who ate the cake. And guess who ate the cake? Everyone ate the cake. Everyone had a bite of the cake because it was just too good. And then, I don't know, I believe everyone ate everything. And then they ended up combining the leftovers and winning the dessert competition. I think it's actually pretty funny. I think it's... Oh, this is hard. Oh, this is hard. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put it right... No, there. Right there. Right there. Middle A tier. Overall, Season 2's looking pretty good so far. Now we're on to our final episode, A Canterlot Wedding, Part 1 and Part 2. This is when Twilight and her friends go to a wedding for Twilight's brother, Shining Armor, and Princess Cadence, who Twilight knows from early childhood. And essentially, Cadence is evil, but Cadence isn't actually evil, because Cadence is actually Queen Chrysalis. Wow. That's so... I don't know, I liked the twist, but overall, it feels really stupid that no one is listening to Twilight, and they're all just like, oh, Cadence is so nice, when it's so painfully obvious what she's doing, and Twilight can very easily prove it or point it out, yet none of that happens. I think this episode's pretty good, but there are some things that hold it back. I think Queen Chrysalis was okay, but it was a weird, like... It was a weird reveal, because Twilight ends up meeting the real Cadence before learning about Chrysalis. I think that was a little strange, but this episode wasn't terrible. I'm probably going to put it somewhere in B tier. Above Hurricane Fluttershy, below Read It and Weep. No, put that back. There we go. That's my final tier list. That's my final tier list for Season 2. Overall, I think it's a pretty good season. There are more good episodes than there are bad episodes, but there are a few, like, rotten eggs in this group that I can't say I enjoy watching all too much. Speaking of watching, thank you for watching this video. If you want, as I said in the beginning, there is a link to my Season 1 ranking in the description if you want to watch that. There's also a few other videos about My Little Pony on my channel if you want to watch those. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.